Hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this Sunday night? Monday night, I'm sorry. March 30th, 2026. Apologies, first of all, to my cousins and in the group. Whatever the fuck I said that Friday night. Uh, you know, insomniac as I am, but that's not an excuse. So forgive me. All right. Stress of living a life, just living a life on this planet. Again, I'm not making excuses, but work stress, this fucking apartment, everything else in this country, Northeast, everything here. And for me, the work stress has always been a fucking issue. And then we have this fucking war going on, I'm out there to just enjoy some time, you know. And then just like it's like people are fucking talking about this fucking war, you know. It's like, haven't I gone through the fucking, experience in the aftermath of 9/11? As if wasn't there enough for you, one of the fucking, not a good time, indirect fucking stress. All right. Doesn't doesn't mean that I should unleash on my first cousins and or begin, yes. I mean, when I was away, before I showed up fucking mountains after 10 years, nobody really fucking cared where I was, whether I was alive or where the fuck, right? And I understand it. All right. And then my own fucking like, mistakes of, like doing this and that. And, I'm not a fucking billion-dollar company. Why did I take these fucking responsibilities, you know, in helping others? But then I, people also think that fucking dollars grow on the fucking trees here. Life here is not easy. You come here away from your fucking friends, away from everybody. I understand that I should not have said to the group or to those two guys. All right. But if anything, I have basically done my fucking prison time, my fucking lunacy, okay, in this country just to basically keep my fucking head above the water. That's what I should have kept going with. Not fucking, like, oh, acting like, oh, I'm fucking Elon Musk. I'm gonna bring like all fucking people from fucking India and Pakistan or whatever the fuck to work for me. I'm, I'm hustling. I'm basically like for a dollar and penny every fucking day. All right. Yeah, I get it. It's my own fucking mistakes. All right. When you spread your legs farther than what is that fucking whatever that proverb is in whatever culture or language, then your covers. Then that's what happens. All right. So Again, I'm sorry. All right. But at the end of the day, I had to be responsible, you know. And yes, I'm not saying I'm not, but hey, don't you have a fucking like bad night? In any case, yes, I gotta keep my cool, but please, you have to also fucking understand that however I have basically survived, again, survived in running my own shit or, just living alone or whatever the fucking lunacy for 25 years. All right. I still go back to that fucking place. All right. And so some of us, including sometimes I feel like maybe I should not have married at the age of fucking 49. All right. Living alone, living fucking alone. I'm not talking about like living with a roommate or, alone, talking to these fucking walls, these fucking, couches, and what are the fuck talking to myself here in this fucking camera? That's what my life was. Unfortunately, yes, for my own mistakes or whatever the fuck the fucking society has given me. No fucking choice. All right? It's not easy. It's not easy to live a life in America. Right? I'm not saying that this is fucking Afghanistan or whatever the fuck it is, but people think that, oh man, yeah, this, oh, he's living in America. Fucking Christ. In any case, so I'm not making excuses. I'm sorry. Okay? But people have those bad fucking moments in their lives. I'm not saying again, I'm sorry. Okay? And I'm gonna try to fucking move on. All right? The fucking groups, I don't belong in fucking groups. You know? I'm a lunatic, and that's what I am. You know? And I understand that, and I actually understand more than anybody who has not had this fucking experience. Okay? I went back to mountains after fucking 10 years and I saw the difference. What the fucking 9/11 has had the ripple fucking effect. All right? Now, is it coming back? I have no fucking idea. All right? Hunza, the place, this fucking place, which was full of tourists, when I left that fucking country, that place, 25 years ago, right? There are more fucking tourists and expedition people s- walking on the fucking streets. And then I went back after 10 fucking 20 fucking years, 20, 21 fucking years to the mountains. And it's like, what? And then after that, slowly things were, listen, man, I have seen this on this side and on that fucking side. All right. And at least these people have their own fucking houses. They've been living their own with their own fucking families. All right. They live their own with their families. I'm not making excuses. I don't even have a fucking house. This apartment I've been renting for years and years and years. You know why? Because I couldn't fucking afford to buy anything. And I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna do after fucking. Am I gonna retire ever? I don't think so. I don't even have a fucking life insurance for fuck's sake. You know? taking out these fucking big responsibilities. You know, it's my own fucking mistake. Man, you have fucking just lived your fucking life in America, just keeping your head above the fucking water. That's what you should have done. You're no anything more than that. That's what I should have realized. All right? And again, all right? Again, I'm sorry. I'm just I'm just telling you my fucking life story in 10 minutes. All right? Again, I have had a life which is not normal that I lived. Not saying that I was in a fucking prison or whatever the fuck, right? I'm not saying that, but just like living. And I get it. Some people, just like live that life by choice and all that. But just like that, you know what that makes you? That actually makes you bitter towards this fucking life. Or people say, oh, dear is, hey man, you should believe in some higher whatever, right? Maybe there's more to this fucking universe. No, no, no. I don't. Okay. I'm not even fucking going there. Okay. This is the life I've been given. Okay. Yes, it's also my own choice, but there were some things which were not my fucking choice. All right. I'm not telling you to walk in my fucking shoes because you can't. Okay. And I'm not trying to be angry again on my podcast. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Maybe I just like I'm also fucking screwed in my head, skewed in my fucking head. You know? Charity fucking starts at home. If I'm not fucking happy in my life, in my own fucking way, what charity am I going to do for others? It's like fucking lying to yourself, you know? And listen, I'm not a fucking monster, all right? I'm not a fucking monster. But hey, sometimes, you think about those fucking things, and just like you have, the the life's fucking, you know, those. I'm not talking about I have PTSD. Maybe I do from fucking childhood trauma, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, that may be true too. All right. And I'm not bringing my fucking childhood trauma and all that here. But maybe, I don't know. But that's, yes, you would say, oh, you should talk to a fucking doctor. Yes. But nobody can live, or I'm not, again, I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay. Again, I think I fucking apologized like 1,000 times. All right. I gotta fucking move on. That's all. All right. People won't understand what it's like to basically survive. All right. Survive. Okay. And then the fucking stress of work and stress of life and stress of, like, dude, I don't even have fucking retirement. I don't have a retirement plan. If I die tomorrow, how my wife is going to fucking, move on? No life insurance, no fucking retirement plan because I don't have fucking money. I don't have a house. You know, I bought this fucking apartment during my marriage, right at the same fucking time. Now I'm losing all that fucking money. I can't even sell this fucking apartment for the same amount that I bought this for. I'm hoping and I'm praying to the fucking universe that I can sell this for the money that I don't lose a lot of fucking money. And this is not because of my mistakes. Nobody told us about this fucking whole fucking special assessment. I'm not making, again, I'm sorry. Okay. Yes, everybody has problems, but some problems are at some level and others problems are another fucking level. Maybe I can't deal with all this. Not an excuse. Sorry. You have to keep your fucking cool. I get it. I can't fucking sleep at night. You know why? Because I don't know what the fuck. Like everybody fucking blames me. Many of my fucking clients. What the fuck, man? It's like everybody fucking points fingers. It's like so fucking stressful. You know? It's like it's unfucking believable. And then I understand. Then I had to put pressure on my workers and all that. But what's the other choice? We don't have a fucking choice. You don't do this. I don't have any other skill. I can't pay them. I can't pay myself, and I can't just fucking pay the bills. Then I'll be on the fucking street begging for fucking change. That's the fucking truth, sir. You know? Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I should fucking run away from everything. Just somewhere fucking in a fucking top of the mountain where I climbed when I was back in the mountains. And I should become one of those fucking shepherds up there. Sometimes I am jealous of that fucking life. At least I wouldn't have to fucking deal with all this stress, the fucking bills. You don't pay a bill like in 3 days, they report you to fucking, these credit companies. And that's another fuck. And that all these other fucking stresses in life. You know, it's just unfucking believable. It gets to that point sometimes. All right. Life here is not easy. All right. You want to take my fucking piece of advice? You should basically move away from all these stressful fucking countries. Live a fucking simple life that will make you happier. But then how would you pay the fucking bills? Right? That's the question you would ask me. I just like, I'm sorry, I just basically turned my fucking podcast and I haven't had sleep, you know, I have insomnia and everything is just a fucking, especially the work is just a stress. Oh yeah, whose work is not stress? I don't know. I don't want to fucking relate myself to other people's stress life. Okay. I'm just talking to myself here. And whoever is listening to, you know, hopefully without complaining too much. But that's the fucking reality in this fucking country, all right? Unless you are really making really good money in whatever profession, some people get lucky or they make the right decisions at the right time, and 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 somehow also the universe helps them, and the fucking universe has never helped me. I still fucking come to the fucking drawing board at 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, sometimes 11 o'clock at night, and I have to do that fucking shit every night, almost. Except weekends, I try not to do that. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm the only person who's working, and all you guys are basically fucking Hawaii and drinking fucking whatever cool bit off of those fucking what is it, pine nut, whatever that fuck nut is. All right, but just it's a stressful life here. It's it and just like I give this just stresses my wife. And then obviously this stresses, you know, just I wish I could just see that fucking jackpot. How people do that, man. Maybe I should go on fucking OnlyFans. Fuck's sake, you know? So I don't have to fucking live a stressful life. Work is stressful work, and just like not worry about fucking bills, you know? It's just it's again, it's not only me, and I have other colleagues, who actually who are who are basically doing the same shit. And it's like, what's the other solution? There's no other fucking solution. You know, you just have to keep going. That's what fucking life is. You know. But yes, I understand that. Now that and I'm not trying to unleash on people. You know, in the fucking WhatsApp groups and all that. And I don't want to be in these groups, because then I would just like, in my own fucking mind, all these things would just like, boomerang into like other things, you know? And then my mother and my father's relationship, which was just been shaky for the last fucking 15 years. I'm sorry. I don't need to like bring my own, extend my parents' problems into this fucking conversation here. All right. You know, when you are the oldest child, you are the one who actually has fucking gone through again. Okay. This is just a fucking stressful period in my life. More than ever, I feel. I don't know. Maybe I start taking the fucking, super B12, fucking what the fuck those vitamins are, right? But then I realize that they also have problems. You can't just take fucking vitamins every fucking, right? Like fucking potent, and then the fucking, what do you call it? And then they have to be processed by your body. It's like you're taking like fucking gazillion, what, like lettuce, leaves of lettuce. Like, what are that fucking vitamin you're taking? Is that what it is? I don't fucking know. So I have, yes, I have kind of like some, like stopped taking those sort of because it was just making me bloat and it's like fucking, what the fuck am I doing? In any case, I'm sorry. I ranted. I guess this was my rant that I didn't want to have. I don't want to have. And whatever problems we have, yes, we can't just like fucking unleash on other people because, we are not happy in our lives. I get it. All right. In many ways. Yeah. I mean, I love my wife and, she gives me all the support she can, but she, obviously she's also adjusting and I'm also adjusting her being here, you know, and that's also, an experience for both of us. It's like I'm not in the fucking mountains where I've just basically married her and then, whatever family we're living. It's not like that here, right? And we have to adjust to this lifestyle and again, life, not life. Again, it's fucking dollars don't grow on fucking trees. All right, and some people. I mean, if you ask me, I'm sorry to say, if you ask me what time it is, it's 10 o'clock almost. My wife is done. If you ask me, you know, and I don't want to, sound like a victim of whatever the fuck this society. Every one of us is a fucking victim of this society. Whatever society you are in or whatever, God, whatever, you know. But that victimhood is not health, you know. Yeah, I mean, like it was like especially first few years was an extremely harsh period in my life. Yeah, I didn't know anybody. Like I didn't fucking know anyone. And then, oh, go to fucking bars. It's like, oh, or somewhere, not even fucking bars. Not everywhere you feel like people make you feel like you are unfit, misfit, whatever. The fuck. Um, in any case, so that's it. That's my podcast. Again, I'm sorry I ranted on that group. Apology to my cousins, whatever. They are my clan from, you know, but and I'm not at the same time, I'm not saying that you should understand me where I'm coming from. Okay? There's not, again, an excuse. But what I'm saying is that unfortunately it happens sometimes. All right, that's all. That's my podcast, and I assume you all are having. I understand fucking Mondays are horrible. I had to drive to Manhattan, which I hadn't since I came back from Florida. I hadn't been to like I don't want to cross the fucking tunnels, but I had to go to work construction site. But in any case, so that's it. That's all. That's my podcast for now. I'll see you all next week.